Hey, everybody, Tuesday night. We're a little bit late. Sorry about that. Chris actually had to drive home from Florida. He was doing the 24 Hours of Lemons race, which I think he did with the Williamses and whatnot, and that crew. But that's a cool race, and I've been keeping an eye on that for a long time. You win like $5,000 in nickels. It's like big piles of nickels. It's like a thing. If you do something bad, they like weld farm animals to the roof of the car. It's like it's wacky stuff. It's a race in all sort of terms of like a race, but it's not really a race. It's pretty much just fun. And so I'm looking forward to talking to him about that because that's like bucket list kind of stuff. But that said, guys, lots and lots of cool stuff going on. I'm taking the engine out of my Cadillac because that seems like the right thing to do right before Rocky Mountain Race Week. I'm going to swap it with a new motor. I've got it the accessories and stuff all off, so I'm working with that. It's been a disaster, to be honest with you, but hey, whatever. I'm here for it. I got a little bit of time off. My next gig is Sick Summer. I'll be in Chicago in a few weeks, and we'll be kicking that deal off, and it's going to be super fun. And next week, I got Travis and Amanda Martin on, so that is going to be really fun. But that said, let me do the countdown deal here, and we will bring on Mr. Chris Story. All right, guys. Without further ado, I don't. I was. He was standing up in the background. I was going to bring him on, but it was like his like gut area, and I was like, I can't bring a guy on to the show like that. So I'll bring you on here,
Yeah.
Mr. Story,
What
dude.
up, baby?
You literally got like you just got home like minutes
Yeah,
ago. You got home.
minutes ago.
And yeah, so rather than like unload the car and take a shower and hang out with your wife, like you decided to come and party with me on my show
Absolutely.
with my dude. This is gonna get tens and tens of views. So
Hey,
yeah,
I am here for it, my friend.
hell yes,
To
and
be fair, she's
especially
not here either. She won't be
oh,
home for a little while, so
well, all right.
yeah.
A special drink for tonight. We're doing whiskey again, and
Same
you've got
here.
one as well. So
Absolutely. You know the
clink to
deal.
you, my friend. Oh, the dog. There's a fire truck going by, so the
Wow.
dog likes to help with the sirens. But that's
I just
cool,
shoved mine
everyone.
outside.
hmm Yeah, he would still just go. It's all right. But thanks to everyone for tuning in and checking this out. If you guys don't know, Chris, Chris is kind of I mean, dude. We were talking recently, and of the dudes doing photos for stuff right now, and doing it as a full time gig, like dude, you're up there in the in the top sort of five or ten of dudes doing this right now, and doing it the level you're doing it, and I'm excited to talk to you about that,
Well, I
and talk to
appreciate
you
that.
about your the insight really that I love is the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I see you kind of cruising around and doing your thing at racetracks and stuff, but I don't even understand exactly everything that's kind of happening in the process, but like it is so cool. It's such a really cool thing to watch the background of you and what you do and how quickly you have to take your shots and whatnot. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
go ahead,
you
sorry.
know, no, that's all right, man. That's all right. What gave you that idea to give everyone kind of your first person view and whatnot?
So we're trying to figure out um other ways to supplement income because it doesn't the gig doesn't pay well, we'll just put it that way.
Right.
Um, And so, we were like, well, if we can get a YouTube channel off the ground, that serves multiple purposes. It helps get the word out because, as you know, I'm a big, huge drag and drive nerd, and I don't think there's enough
as
dudes doing it,
as you should be. I mean,
as everybody should be.
as everybody
Um,
should be.
but yeah,
Exactly.
and if we could grow it to a point where it helps pay the rent, then it'll free up a lot more time and energy to do more cool stuff. So
Yeah, dude, and it's that's what it's all about. When we're and I'm looking through your YouTube here. I'm looking for a little clip to play, but it's Chris Story Photo. It's the same as it's spelled here on the screen, and if you're watching later on and or on the podcast without video, it's Chris Story Photo, Foto. Um,
yes,
and yeah. Let me just bring this up real quick, just
sure,
while I'm thinking about it. Like I'm just gonna do it.
yeah,
2 seconds, but I'm just gonna
yeah.
play
No,
like. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
definitely stole this idea from a different YouTuber that we follow, but
Yeah,
it does give it a different perspective, if you will.
it's yeah. This is just such a for me. Like I said, like I don't watch. I watch you doing your thing, and I'm doing my
Right.
thing. And but I want to play like just a minute of this. And this is like a 3 week ago video that only has 108 views. Come on, guys. Let's get this on. But this is super fun. Like this is you show you taking the shot, and then you show you the end result of the shot
Yep.
on the video. So let's check this out for a minute or two.
Cool. Oh yeah, that was at Matt Moore's race.
Oh boy, in focus.
Okay, so this is at Bon Terre.
Maybe.
Yes. Yes. What up, Dylan?
Yeah, dude. So like this is
Yeah.
Oh.
this is some stuff
Oh.
right here.
Oh.
You know,
Oh. I was in the grass.
All right, I thought that dude was gonna crash.
totally. Yeah, it's that's what it sounds. You're like ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. But this is a few moments later.
Oh yeah.
This is good stuff. Like
Uh,
for my perspective, like I just love it, man. And I was showing some other folks at one of the Cletus races. Actually, I was like, dude, you got to see
Oh,
this like
shit.
first person view of this dude. And
fuck, I appreciate that.
yeah, man, it's just it's such a cool thing. And to me, you were kind of right when I was getting kind of my goal with announcing and stuff. You were like, I'm going full in, I'm making this happen. Like,
Yep.
talk about that. What did you do before you were a
So
professional photographer?
So I've been shooting. I've been shooting pictures for a very long time. I've been a photographer now for about a decade.
Okay.
What up, Dylan? That's an OG homie right there. Anyways, um, so I've been shooting on and off for a long, long time. I mean, that really started like way back when I used to ride BMX.
Okay.
Because everybody wants a good photo, but yeah, thank you, Mike. It's coming back. Sorry, I got to stop interacting with these people. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're okay.
Um,
That's what we're doing this for, dude. This is the
yeah, no,
jam here.
absolutely, absolutely. I love the interaction.
No,
Plus,
that's the
I
best part of this. And we didn't really talk kind of ground rules before this, and I have none because I have no sponsors, so you can do whatever
yeah,
the hell you want. I got no one to
absolutely,
piss off. So
yeah,
so talk about what you want to talk about. Just stand behind it, and we're gonna interact with our people. We're gonna have a good time, and
perfect.
it's gonna end up being about my 500 followers
That's
that will
great.
watch this thing, which is great. And when those are 5,000 followers, and when we're both making money on making money, then we can look back at this and be like, hey, you remember when?
Yeah, whenever you're big, rich, and famous, like I can be like, dude, I was on that dude's podcast. I swear to God, I know him.
No, we
Yeah, we.
it's the two of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's awesome, Richard. Yeah, you're a homie. the long story short is I was doing motorsports stuff around high school time, which got me into cars. I worked at a shop with my dad at the time.
Okay.
It wasn't his shop; it was just a shop that he worked at, which he got me in
Hmm.
as like basically a shop bitch, pick up stuff, sweep the floors,
Yeah.
do whatever. Which turned into like, hey, can you pull this apart? Hey, can you put this in there? And run apart the whole shooting match.
Totally. Yeah. Here,
Um,
come help me hold this, or come help me with this, or whatever.
yeah, absolutely. And then a set of not so great circumstances kind of gave me a crossroads. And so right after high school, or really at the end of high school, I decided to go to the army and try that route, pretty much just to try something new, give
Hmm.
myself a better chance at being a regular adult. And so I did IT in the army for a little while, which after that I transitioned to doing IT in the civilian sector, which I absolutely hated. And I was like, well, how am I going to get back into cars? Because I think that sounds like a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And so I worked at a restoration shop here in Tulsa, in the Tulsa area. When I went there, I went there with the intentions of doing a lot more with my photography stuff, and it just didn't end up happening. They needed a technician, not a media guy, and
Right.
so it didn't work out. And Rocky Mountain Race Week, the first was it the first 2.0? I think it was the first
I
2.0.
think it was. Yeah. Yeah.
2020, I think.
2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically was just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna try it. Like,
Right.
what's the worst that could happen? And me and my wife were kind of like, we're at the time like we're 21 and 20, like we're okay with not having lights and and water and all these things going on. And what's the worst that could happen? As long as we eat, we're good.
Right.
And so we decided to send it on the photography stuff. Um, and it's been up and down and all around, but it's been overall a fantastic time.
No, totally. And that's kind of like it. I put a lot of my like stuff on the whole, and I've only been doing this a couple of months now, but like, man, it's been a while. It's been a little bit since I had a job,
Yeah,
and like,
yeah,
you know how that goes, and like we've been talking
yeah,
about that. Like,
yeah,
okay, I got enough money like saved, but like, man, it dwindles down a little bit, and
yeah.
whew, stuff starts getting a little tight, and then it seems like stuff comes in waves for me, at
Same.
least. I for my first whatever 8 weeks, I was on the road for 6 of them.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, that was awesome, and I was like, man, here we go. And then I'm in the middle of my longest stretch off all year right now,
Yeah,
and I don't even know what to do with my hands, like.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Little bit for a little bit of money, and I was like, I
Uh
just
huh.
like I've been doing some house projects here and there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna work on this stupid Cadillac because I've got this
Yeah,
motor. It's built, it's done, and like you even gave me the idea, like, dude, those Atlas 2s are worth money. And I was like,
yeah.
ooh, yeah, I can
They
liquidate
are.
that if I need
Uh
to.
huh.
And I
Uh-huh.
could sell the 383 just as easy, but like, I mean, I've got it there, and I've got
Yeah.
nothing
Well,
going on.
we're not gonna put the 6 liter back in. Why would we do that?
No, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? So,
Right. That doesn't make
no,
any
man.
sense.
So that's like, I get it. Like, things are crazy, and this life is nuts, pal. This life is nuts. But you've been
Yeah.
doing a little longer than I have, but you're still kind of a baby at it. I
Hmm.
mean, you've only been doing it a few years now, but
Yep.
you're staying afloat. You're doing it. Like, I applaud you.
Yeah.
You're making it happen.
Thank you. Thank
How do
you.
you do
It
it?
doesn't a lot of help from people. Um, so like I I'm real bad about receiving just free help from people.
Right.
And I have a few family members that have been helping us out this year just to get us through the winters. Um, because as you know, there's no racing in the
There's no
wintertime
racing in the
unless you live
winter.
in
I
Florida.
mean, right, and like I did just hook up the Christmas tree drags,
Hmm.
so I got a
Which is
December
fun.
gig. But
There you
yes,
go.
dude, there's a lot. Um, there's a lot of space where there's not going to be anything.
Yeah. But yeah, just help from some friends too. Like a couple of friends of mine in 2020 actually, because believe it or not, quitting your job to be a full time drag race photographer in September isn't a real good plan because basically after
It turns
September,
out.
turns out there's not shit going on in September. So or after September. And so I didn't really do a whole lot of planning there. And a few of my friends were starting a performance shop here in town, and they brought me on as a GM guy because they're Ford guys, unfortunately. And
On purpose?
um, yeah, I don't get it either, but whatever. They're real into
Whatever.
it. And it was just like, hey, work when you're here and leave whenever you want to. Like we don't really care as long as what you said is going to be done, it gets done. We're
Right.
all fine and dandy. Which that really got me through the first year and a half before I really actually established myself as a a motorsport photographer and really started getting some gigs and some clients to actually pay the bills with it.
Right.
So
Where does a dude start? And these are kind of a lot of my like end of the thing questions, I guess. But
yeah,
like, let's say, I mean, whatever, man, high school kid, flunking out of high school but likes photography class. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
how's like what's a dude like? Is equipment important? Is are connections important? What is a guy? How's a guy go down your path? And I mean,
connections are
here's Derek, man. I mean, teach me your ways
whatever. Derek's the goat.
in perfect timing.
Derek's
No,
the guy.
Derek's the guy, and Derek's like cool side gig from motorsports photography that I like is heavy metal concerts,
Yeah,
and
I love
he
that.
and I have some dovetailing heavy metal interests. Good on you,
Absolutely.
sir. So welcome, but no, for sure, like what a dude, starting like what? How the hell does a dude start into this?
So gear is not as important as people say that. Like, it's not that important to do. So, like, for the first, really until like late last year, I was using a like shitty $500 camera body. I will say for like kit stuff, invest in your lenses before you ever buy a nice body
Okay,
because you can take lenses for the rest of your life. Like, you only got to buy them once, unless you're an idiot like me and you eat shit on the starting line often. You only got to buy them once. And so like the camera body is a good vessel, and there's a lot of in every brand and whatever. There's a lot of really great starter cameras. But it is a lot more about who you know than really what you know. I mean, you got to be good. You can't just be bad and then
a geek off the street.
yeah. But really, just go to your local testing tunes and just bullshit with people and take a few photos for them. And I've always been a huge proponent of this. Is like when you're really getting, yeah. When you're really starting off with this, is just give away a bunch of shit. Like I gave away. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but like on Race Week, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't charge anybody for a photo. I said, you can send me some money if you want to, but I don't expect $1 from anybody. Here's these photos. I'll send you the high reses. Because it's really all, like I said, it's all about who you know and getting your foot in the door with people.
Right.
Um, like this past weekend is a fantastic example of that. Is just like just being a homie with some dudes, and they're like, hey, we're gonna go race the 24-hour lemons. We want you to come, and being able to go down that route and just go explore with your friends because they always want great photos or videos to show off the cool shit that they're doing.
Right. Right. Exactly. And like, who better to do it than your homie? Like, bring your
Yeah,
dude with you. Like, why not?
exactly. And like I will say like the dudes that I consider like really good friends of mine are the ones that support us the most. The William family is a great example of that. David and Robert always buying photo packages and posters and whatever else that they can get.
Yeah,
Um,
they're like the real G's. Like, and
absolutely.
they're kind of the same way with me. They're just like, dude, like we know your voice now,
Yep.
and it's weird when you're not over the PA anywhere. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
dude, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, like even like Aaron Schaefer, I saw Aaron Schaefer and Dylan Carroll
Mhm.
was in there earlier. Like when I say OGs, like those dudes were like, "Hey," like shaking my hands with a few $100s. Like, we appreciate the pictures that you've taken this weekend, and then they've
Right.
been supporting the program ever since. Like but damn near every race week ever. Those dudes always slide some cash my way, and I get them some photos. So
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
it's a lot about who you know, and it's also like you can't be an asshole, and you also have to be relatable to whichever avenue you're going down. So like, I myself am a drag race nut and even more of a drag and drive nut. So like, not only am I like the photographer, if you will, but I can go to dinner with these dudes, any of these dudes, and bullshit with the rest of them.
Right.
Sit there and
Right.
tell lies and have a good time.
And that
Um,
I think that's a lot of it. Like, really,
oh
is
yeah,
being able to sit with dudes and just, talk the talk, walk the walk,
yeah,
a
absolutely,
little bit.
yeah. Yeah. There's another one. Brad freaking Thiessen. Brad and Blaine have been supporting us for a long, long time.
Totally.
Appreciate the shit out of those guys.
And they've got like really cool stuff, which makes
Yeah,
it
super cool
easier
stuff.
to photograph for sure. But have
Yeah.
you always been into, I mean, car slash motorsports type photography, or have you done some of the artsy type photography? Have what's your sort of
Yeah.
background?
So BMX was a big one,
Okay.
which helps a ton with motorsports photography because we're moving. The composition is really important with BMX tricks because like you can do something a foot off the ground and make it look like it's 8 feet off the ground, make it look way cooler than it actually is.
Right.
And that's a lot of what we're doing with these cars anyways, is just trying to make them look like they're way cooler than they are. Some of them are just as cool as they look, but some of them aren't.
Right.
And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but the Lemons race is a fantastic example of that because these are 100 horsepower race cars. It's like, well, if it's a slow car, you got to make it look like it's moving fast as fuck, and
Right.
if it's a fast car, you got to make it look like it's just you got to get it at the moment. You got to
Totally.
stop it in time because it's so radically crazy. You
Oh
don't have
yeah.
to make a fast car look fast because it's fast, and it's you got to make the slow cars look slow. And relating that back to like the BMX stuff is like you got to make the not so cool tricks look like they're fucking really cool.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like they're all yeah, and that there's Walter Doyle. He's
Yeah,
talking. You're
Walter
talking
Doyle.
about his pile of shit.
Yeah,
No, Walter, your stuff is sweet in
it's
its
a
own way.
really nice car.
It's a
He
super
doesn't
nice
give himself
car.
enough credit.
It's a super nice car, and it's fast, and
Yeah.
whatever. He's got like, thank God he's got his wife, because if it was just him, that dude'd be locked up,
Oh
um,
yeah.
like
Dude went
constantly.
rounds at streetcar bragging rights also.
Nice dude. Hell
Didn't
yeah.
think he was gonna, but he did. I didn't
There
think
he,
I thought he was gonna, but he didn't think he was gonna. He's like, I don't know why I'm here.
hey, whatever.
Yeah.
He showed up.
Yeah.
Um,
Showed up and showed out.
No, exactly. There's a the best 24 hours of Lemon's car. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Was a Honda Civic wagon. I've got a
Yeah.
Honda Civic wagon kind of thing. But if you, have
Sick.
you ever seen Arrested Development,
I have
the
not.
TV show?
I have not.
Arrested Development is great. It's maybe a
Okay.
little bit you're a little young for Arrested Development, but you should check it out. It's early Michael Cera. Um,
Oh, okay.
he was like a son in this deal. But someone had a Civic wagon that was a flight of stairs for a for getting onto a airplane.
Oh,
Um,
oh, okay.
yeah, it
I mean, that
was.
does sound like the perfect Lemons car.
Oh, dude, um, it was great. I'm looking for. I'm sorry that I'm giving you guys a terrible show to look for the flight of stairs car. I'll find it at some point and I'll post it on
No,
here
I,
because it was
yeah.
so good. It was freaking great. But if you've seen Arrested Development, and Chris, you should watch Arrested Development when you get a second.
I'm
Um,
at it.
it's it's good. It's good stuff. Robert Williams did someone say lemons. Robert
Yeah.
was part of the crew there, and dude, I'm happy to see you're out having fun and doing your stuff and doing your recovery as well. So
Yeah.
big big fan, and Zane needs to find a piston for his motor. Loser.
Yeah.
And Rich Guido says, dudes.
Oh,
Rich,
what's up, Rich?
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Guido, to you, my friend.
Also, I
hear a
want to let
nasty
you know that
rumor.
I totally intended on doing this podcast and gradually getting more plastered throughout it.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
here.
like I brought the backup bottle. We're doing great.
I think Stevie's home now, so the backup bottle can be brought to me if we get that way.
There you go,
dude. Man, Reggie Moore.
Yeah,
we got everybody on tonight.
Reggie's another OG. Me, like the picture on that would have been 21 race week 20 10. No, yeah, 10 because we were in the mountains. Like the picture of all the race cars were. Yeah, I think it was his idea. It might have been somebody else's idea. Somebody came up to me like, "We want this picture."
Yeah, and it was awesome. And is that the one with Alex Taylor?
No, that one Megan did. So they basically, I feel kind of bad a little bit because Megan did that photo definitely first, but they wanted one with all the hot rods, and not saying that Alex's car is not a hot rod, but
right, but like hot rods, like the
right. The guys that they wanted some of all their homies, all the dudes that are camping at the track with them, and in a different environment where they were the focal point of the photo and not Alex's car, and it was James. That's right. James really wanted that photo.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. But at any rate, yeah, that was a fantastic idea on their part. And that's another thing too. Like that I would tell photographers is like, listen to the dudes. Like sometimes, a lot of the times, they have really cool ideas, and you just gotta be like, okay, and then make it happen to the best of your ability.
Well, yeah, totally. And like, I mean, it comes down to it's customer service, dude. Like, right? If they're paying, like their idea is the best idea.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. Like, whatever.
You just make sure it actually looks good.
Totally. Here's that. It's a terrible photo. My buddy Steve sent that to me. But
that thing's fucking rad.
There's the Lemons car. That's it in 8-bit. But yeah, it's good.
That's hilarious.
That's Lemons kind of stuff right there.
It pretty much is. It was
that's Lemons kind of stuff right there, my friend.
That was a riot,
man. So again, like I'm getting into a bunch of my questions that I'm getting that I typically end my show with, but but I need to know you've been to a ton of racetracks.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite racetrack?
I'm gonna say it's kind of tied for first at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I love Shadyside.
Okay.
Shadyside Dragway. It is. There's just something in the water out there. The way that they run the track. It's in some dude's fucking backyard. If it's an outlaw track. There's no rules. It's just like the waiver is like, if you're willing to die in this, sign here, kind of stuff. And we were there for the second street meet. I didn't make the first one. And we were there on like a Wednesday, and the way that Laura and Devin were doing street need the first year was they were just doing it on the back end or before test and tunes. Okay. And so we did street meet, right? We did all the classes, and then it was test and tune, and it was like, it felt like the drag strip felt like 10 years ago, when it was jam packed and everybody was calling each other out, and there's dudes betting on the starting line, and it was just such a great time. And racing right now, I've been saying it for a while. Yeah, Yellow Belly's a freaking awesome time. Also,
that's what Rich was telling. We were talking about that, and it was kind of it sounds like just like that. Everyone was gambling and betting and like old school, like standing on the starting line. And he was like, none of these people were with these cars. Like they would open, like the people, like gates would open, and two cars would emerge, and then the gates would close. And then everyone was betting and smoking and drinking and partying and right. It sounds sweet.
He is on
And
fill time.
Nick's on fill time.
That dude's late to everything.
Well,
He's gonna be late to his own funeral.
and now Nick's also joining
Yeah.
with Phil with his lateness.
Yeah. But yeah, Shady Side's great. Dude, the gut is a freaking awesome time also. It just I have like there's just something about Shady Side that's just right. Like there's
Right.
the dudes that are walking around still selling damn pork rinds and pickles and just, dumb shit. And like the other thing too is like there was when we went, it might have been the last time I was at Shady Side actually, which would have been a different street eat, I'm sure. And that's cool. Yeah. Um, but like it's dumb little shit. Like they sell like frozen. Like, do you remember going to the racetrack way back when you were a kid, and they sold you like the little like sauce cups full of like frozen pickle juice, and you would
Yes.
just munch that shit up.
Right.
Like they were selling like it was just the nostalgia for me that really like got me, and I was like, this is fucking rad. Like I haven't felt like there hasn't been many tracks that I've gone to recently where I'm like, this is where drag racing really fucking at. Like this feels like what it felt like to go to the drag strip with my dad when I was a kid, and that's what I think really made Shady Side kind of super. I don't know how to do it. What up? And I would say probably second to that is Bradenton, just because there's just a vibe at freaking Bradenton
And
as well.
And it's like nonstop. You
Yeah,
know,
it is
Bradenton
nonstop.
as soon as you open the gate, it's rowdy. Right up until you
Oh
close the
yeah,
gate.
the entire time. And I really, man, I'm so mad that I wasn't there for the freaking the shootout, the nitro shootout. I should have just stayed, and I felt like I should have stayed, but that we broke the freaking Honda, and it was just like one of those deals. Like the Poppies Patina dudes are like, hey, we're gonna haul your stuff back. Yeah, I did talk about it briefly.
This is it. This is the thing. So we'll talk. We'll finish up with Bradenton, but then we got to talk about you
I
losing
know,
it.
dude. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wish I was there. I could have stayed, and I felt bad having Nate was the guy that was driving the ramp truck. I didn't want him to drive all the way back by himself, and I was worried about the Honda, worried about this, worried about having enough money to actually like stay another week in Bradenton, because
Right.
it's not cheap to stay out there if you don't have, a friend with a couch that you can stay
a
on.
couch, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really kicking myself for not doing that. I wish I would have just figured it out. But the no car thing really put a damper on that plan.
Well, yeah, and that was you had, for folks that don't know, you had broken the car like at the racetrack or near the racetrack. Like you got it like towed like to the racetrack. Like you made it almost all the way
Yeah.
there.
So we made it. So we were trying to. It was for Sick Week, and we were trying to make it for the Cadillac Attack race because a client of ours, Ryan Weger, was racing the Cadillac Attack race, and it was butted up immediately to race week.
Right.
And there was a bunch of Sick Week, and
Sick week, right.
there was a bunch of Sick Week competitors that were racing in Cadillac Attack, and it was just it was a good place for us to kind of get warmed up, get our feet wet because it's the first event of the year for us, and so
Right.
we're trying to
And
make it there, and we
you could
made
sell Cadillac packages and Sick Week packages.
correct, yeah, kind of double down, try to make the trip worth it, and we had a really ambitious goal when we started this year. Like we really wanted to do 10 a month, which is marginally better than we've ever done. And we started off strong, to be fair, but it's tapered off since then just because of some other circumstances. It doesn't matter. Anyways.
Right.
But yeah, we made it to Orlando-ish when the transmission really let out. And to be fair, that Civic it owes us nothing. Like we put like I think it was something like 42,000 miles on it last year.
Wow.
And the entire time that we drove it, all of last year, the transmission was making noise. So we knew it was on borrowed time. But it in my head, I was like, it made it through Death Week. And then after Death Week, like I literally drove from Arizona to Maryland for World Cup, in a straight 34-hour stint. So I'm like, if I can make that, I can make this, quick little 17, 18-hour drive, and I did not like it. And noted. I didn't know you're that close to Bradenton.
I didn't either. So yeah,
Noted. And I will be on
I've
your
been
couch
taking
at
them up
some
on
point.
that constantly, but you got to worry sleeping at Walter's place.
Yeah, I
Like
know. Especially
you might,
after that last weekend.
yeah, you might wake up and it'll be trying to wear your skin as a hat or something. It's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and like Robert said, the car made it up Pikes Peak with a questionable transmission. So I had faith in the questionable transmission
right,
because it had not
right.
let me down yet. And it did let me down, and Bree and I had to like push it off the turnpike, and it was a whole
It was a
mess.
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked out just fine. We got the car fixed. It's driving around and doing good stuff now. But
Why? I gotta know. Why don't you fly?
it's expensive,
Got it.
way cheaper to drive.
Understood.
Um, and then like I always have the option to sleep in the car. Whereas if I fly somewhere, like I either absolutely have to get a hotel room somewhere, or I absolutely have to do like couch surfing or whatever it may be. Right? Mike's the homie also.
Mike, man,
But yeah,
that
that's why we don't fly. It just and now that Bree's with us, like we have so much stuff that we bring with us. Like we bring food because like we don't really go out to eat. Like we'll make our food at the track. It's
yep,
just anything to save a few dollars here, so that way we can pay our bills later.
I get it.
Um,
I get it.
yeah,
No,
I would like to get to the point where I could afford to fly everywhere. Like that would be fantastic. It would save me a lot of time. Like it would have saved me little over uh little over 40 hours of driving just this past week.
right, right.
Um,
And you've got Bree working with you, for
yeah,
you, around you. Like that's
no, definitely with me. She is a 50, we're like 50-50 partners in the deal. So it's more like I work for her. I'm just kind of the pretty face, and she makes sure that I
and
get
she
to the
makes sure
places.
that you get where you need to go and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's my goal. We've been talking about this.
Hmm.
That's been my like man. One of the biggest things with my deal. You chose. You were like, dude, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going. Here we go. Like, I didn't. I just like kind of
Yeah.
pushed my. I got pushed into it, and
Yeah. Life pushed you
right, like
into
you're
this
doing
choice.
this or else.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's been cool because like, man, right away you were on the phone, like, dude, like you can do this. I'm excited for you. I think this is going to be cool. And like
Yeah, man.
we've talked, like we've kind of kept up with like either getting off of this, um, you know, off of this event or to the
Hmm.
next event, etc. Like what how'd this go? What are you doing next? What's going down?
Yeah.
And that's been
Absolutely.
that's been a cool kind of sounding board to have. And
Yeah.
for a dude that's been doing it on his own for whatever 4 years
Well,
now.
yeah. Yeah. This is the fourth full year full time. But yeah, it's just because like I know how fucking hard it is and how like much it sucks sometimes,
Right,
and it if I had somebody that I could have called, it would have made the early years a lot easier,
right,
and that and more importantly, like I'm fucking so happy for you. Like it's insane.
dude. And it's been good. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's been
been
fucking
good.
awesome. Like the
Um,
the Freedom Plus deal is that's
it
crazy.
it's been nuts, dude. It has been nuts.
Yeah. And I
Yeah, I
couldn't think of
can't.
anybody more deserving either. Like there's not one other dude that works as hard as you do, that is as fucking as rad of a dude as you are. Like I can't think of another dude that is more deserving of all the opportunities that have come your way.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
no problem.
it's super cool, and it has been like that whole thing has been crazy. Like I mean, just
Yeah.
nuts. And again, like the Christmas tree race is a Freedom Plus race.
Yep.
And it's just been yeah, man, it's been a really really cool addition to a lot of what I got going on. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's been very cool, but it has been fun and very man, I mean, just such a cool like corner of having you to be like, dude, how are you? This is
Yeah.
cool. Everything's, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That has been the best part, I think, of this because yeah, I mean, I've got friends, I got people in my corner, I got, you know, I got a lot of, you know, a lot of support, but not very many people that are in our position. Like
Right.
we have to pay our bills doing it, and like you're even a
Yeah.
step further because you hired Bree.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
I want to, and I've told you that. Like I want to get to the point where I can hire Stevie and I can bring her with me on all this cool stuff, and
Yeah.
she can be my manager and make sure that I am where I need to be and what's
Yep.
going on. Um,
Yep.
yeah, man, it's
It's fucking so cool to bring Bree with me because like I'm not gonna get too sappy about it, but Bree's like she is a unique gal. We'll just put it that way in the sense that like she wants this to work almost more than I do sometimes. Like there's a lot of times where I'm just like fuck it, I'm gonna go get a regular job because I'm broke and I'm pissed and whatever it may be. And she's like, no, you can't. Like you got to just. It sucks right now, but in the next event's in 3 weeks and it's not going to suck anymore. So just
right.
suck it up and quit bitching. Like and and it takes a special person to be like, you know what, we're not only one to be like, I don't care if our fucking lights get shut off, I don't care if I have this or that, like we can go with or without. She is much cooler than I am,
Yeah, he
and
tells me
it
that about Stevie too.
yeah,
But it's true. I mean,
it is true. And Stevie's, I like from what I gather, is the same way. And yeah, it's so cool for me to get to experience this kind of life with her because I mean we're living so much life as 25-year-olds than most 25-year-olds ever get to do. And it's really rad. And yeah, like going to Alaska last year really was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was basically like, if you don't want to do it, like I get it, but like I want you to come. And if you want to come and I can't let you, like if I can't facilitate you coming with me, I don't want to do it anymore. Cause it's
right.
just like, I don't know, like it's she's the best friend. She's my best friend, and it's just like I want to do cool shit with her and in
Right.
Colorado.
And it's different coming home and being like, you wouldn't believe all the cool shit that happened this weekend. Like, oh
Yeah,
my God. And it's just so
yeah,
much different when they're like, I know I was there.
right,
Like
yeah,
that was kind of always the deal with Stevie with race week is I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work in an entry for you into my pay. And like you can
right,
just come and whatever. Like, let's just party. Let's have a good time. And it's been the most fun is showing her like Dragon Drive, bringing her
yeah.
into race week, into Rocky Mountain race week.
But
And
she
as
she raced race week last year, did she not?
she raced every year. She's raced since 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
she's raced every year since 2020, 2.0, maybe even one. No, 2.0 because I was announcing for that race and I was like, "Well, do you want to come on this?" And
Right.
so she didn't race in 2.0. She raced
Oh,
in
okay.
21, 22, 23, and now getting ready for 24.
Gotcha.
Um, and always in the Cadillac. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which you can't go wrong.
I mean
Cadillac's
it's
great.
great. It's great. Um, we gotta talk about you eating shit. We're bringing it back.
Here we go.
Um, so
Before
you
we
know,
do that,
just
give me 1 second. Hold on. I have to open this vent. It is hot as shit
okay.
in here. Okay, it is now open. Sorry.
All
I'm like
right.
sweating. I'm about to take my shirt off.
So if you haven't seen the video, um, he he's like he's jumping over the wall on the starting line, trying to get to the other lane to take a picture of the car, and eat shit. I
Yep.
mean, that's just what happened.
Yeah, like so
Hold on, I'm
so
gonna try to find it here.
okay. While you're finding it, I'll tell the story. So I was on one end of the track, and if you've ever seen me at the racetrack, you've probably seen me running around the racetrack somewhere. I'm gonna keep my shirt on. My little brother's turning the AC on as we speak. But you'll see me running around the racetrack everywhere. And it's just because like like there's a cool car in this lane and like, oh shit, there's a cool car in that lane. Or more often it's, I have a client in this lane and I got my other client's in the other lane.
Right.
Um,
Right.
this was just, there was an Evo there, and I'm a low key, real big JDM fanboy, and I was like, oh, I want to, because they usually squat real heavy and shoot fire and do all the
Yeah,
JDM
like
fun
pop and
things.
bang and do all kinds of cool shit. Yeah.
So I wanted to shoot, I think it was a Corvette in the, we'll call it it was the right lane, and I shot the Corvette, and then I noticed the Evo was over there. And I'm like, okay, the shortest course of action is to go where the starter is, but they have at Aiken, they have two, or Carolina Dragway rather, they have two like K rails. And in my
Okay.
head, I'm like, I know I'm getting old and I'm kind of fat now, so I'm not gonna try and like jump on one and then jump over the other. And so I'm like, I'm gonna jump on one, get down, and then jump on the other, and then get over. And I'm usually pretty good at like maneuvering my fat ass around, but yeah, I was not so good at maneuvering my fat ass around that trip, and ate shit in front of everybody, which was a lot of
In
fun.
front of, yeah, and that's the best part, is in front of God and everybody.
Yeah, and the starting line dude was like, "Dude, are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Shut up. Like, I gotta get this thing."
Yeah, I got to get this photo. I got to get the shot. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah, which
Is that streetcar
we got
bragging
the photo.
rights?
Yeah, it was streetcar bragging rights. Yeah,
I can't find the post.
which is a fantastic fantastic event, by the way. Like Nate Prattner does a fantastic job. And the whole streetcar bragging rights crew, like we didn't even know. Here, I'm sending it to you right now.
Oh, cool.
But like we didn't even know that like he was down. I don't remember exactly what he went to the hospital for, but he went to the hospital for something. And the crew ran the event like he was still there. Like we had no idea. And they do cool shit for like, for us, which I'm obviously partial to. Like they basically give us the VIP area, which is normally reserved for dudes that, pay an extra fee and they get to stay under a shaded tent and get food and snacks and stuff. But he catered food for us, which is fucking rad. And
Dude,
not like,
so cool.
not like ramen noodles, like good, legit food. And he also did a thing where like you could buy your racer entry, and then you could put a donation to the media people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was $10. You could buy as many of them as you want, and then at the end, he just disperses it throughout everybody that was there, which is rad. Like not a whole lot of people are, besides just the occasional shout out that were there, take it that one step further. Not only to cater food, but to also be like, hey, I'm going to throw you some cash also,
Right.
for being here.
Food is such a huge deal for staff that doesn't happen everywhere. That people don't get that. Like, a lot of places are like, dude, you're here 8 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Oh yeah,
and we need you, busting balls all day long,
the entire time. Yeah,
and have fun. Like, wait, when am I going to eat? Like, you figure that out, dude.
Yeah.
And especially like as an announcer, like, dude, this makes me money. I can't make money if I'm jamming shit in my mouth.
Yep.
So it's a different thing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when event promoters pay attention to that stuff. Like, dude, even race week, like having a hot dog.
Yeah. Having a damn glizzy was fantastic.
I love it, dude. I'll take a hot dog and a bag of chips and whatever, dude. Anything.
Yeah, we don't need anything. We just need a little bit of food.
Right. Check this out. Here's Chris Story eating shit on the starting line. 14 seconds of your life. Oh, hold on. There we go.
It was a super burnout. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I got that on camera. Oh, is he okay?
Oh, man. I love the
My
Zoom
wife's reaction. Yeah.
There's Chris. Oh, I got that on camera. Oh, is he okay?
I'm okay, by the way. Thanks for asking.
No one cares if you're okay. Everyone
I
just wants to
know.
watch you eat some shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. Just wait until you're like 40 and you
Oh
do some
fuck.
crap like that.
After that, I'm not doing no bullshit like that anymore. I'm taking my sweet ass time. I probably will still run, but I'm not gonna try and jump over shit.
it's wild, dude, because I mean you have to every once in a while. Like
Yeah.
something new for me at the Freedom Plus at the Cletus stuff is the burnouts. And
Right.
dude, it's K rails everywhere. So you gotta, I mean, if you want to get on there, you're jumping over K rails. And
Yep.
P.S. when you get out there, it's like antifreeze and oil and diff fluid and like rubber,
Yep.
like dust, dude. And it's like a skating rink. It's the craziest thing. Rubber is supposed to be sticky. It ain't, dude. It's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you end up out there and whatever, dude. It's a wild thing, and you're, here I am, 44 years old, ice skating out
A
to
youngin.
to talk to some cat that just scattered his entire engine on the burnout
Yep.
pad. It's good. It's
Man.
good stuff.
But the burnout
dude.
shit is wild, isn't it? The burnout stuff is cool.
I am such a big fan of the
Yeah.
burnout stuff. It's a different thing than exists in motorsports right now anywhere else, other than Australia, because they're the kings of that. But
Right.
dude, 2 minutes straight on the limiter,
Yeah,
is it's wild, dude. It is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just wait until if you haven't ever seen one of those, go check it out. Horsepower Wars are one of them. Cleats and
Yep.
Cars, Burnout Rivals is one of them.
Yep.
Check out like Skids for Kids on.
Kids for Kids are rad dudes.
Yeah, check them out on social media. They go all over the place, and they do burnout stuff, and it is nuts. It is the craziest thing.
If you're at SEMA, go to the damn Hoonigan Burn Yard.
Oh yeah,
that's a fucking riot, my friend, because they have no rules.
It's pretty sweet. Seth Kavanaugh, who has the Frosty ice cream truck, lives in Wyoming, and not too damn far away from me. And he's working on bringing out some burnout cars for the Sturgis Rally. So
that's gonna be fun.
I told him if he could work it out, I would happily scream into a microphone about that for free. I mean, it's 30 minutes away from me, and
it's fucking Sturgis.
Yeah, dude, and to hype people up about an ice cream truck with a big block Chevy doing burnouts at Sturgis, like, come on,
I mean,
dude.
come on. I really want to shoot that thing on the street. But I've talked to Seth a bunch about doing it, and he's down. We just got to correlate the times. It'll probably happen in August.
It all out. Figure it out. Well, if he ends up here for Sturgis, I got a room you can stay in if you want to work it out that way.
Kind of far, though. But I could. I'm not opposed.
Well, I mean, Sturgis is, further than Wyoming, but Sturgis is Sturgis. I mean,
true.
Whatever.
I've never been to Sturgis. I've never had the inkling to go.
I've never been
not
either.
A huge motorcycle guy.
I've never been either, but I've always wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
And now, like, I have to.
I hear it's basically an outdoor titty bar with like a bunch of bearded rednecks on Harleys. Like, I hear it's the best time ever.
Yeah, it sounds right up my alley. I mean, there's like, whatever, dude.
Like the infield of Talladega in the early 2000s.
Right, and like, whatever, dude. Just do whiskey shots with girls, with pasties on, and life is good. And
yeah,
old dirty pandas is lots of titties.
You would know, you little rascal. You
love it. I love it, man.
Sturgis is wild. I need to check it out one of these years. Yeah,
and Pat's got a bike he can loan you. It gets good gas mileage.
Man, the Grom.
It runs
fucking
20s.
Fucking pass. You are a madman for all that bullshit you do on the Grom. That is crazy.
He is. I've had him on the show, and I asked him basically, "Why are you stupid?" And he didn't have a really good answer for me. It was just, I just am.
It's fun.
And that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Pat Cook, if you guys don't know, he has the Grom. the Grom. Plus, I don't know if you could drive a Grom in Sturgis without getting beat up. Like, I don't.
Yeah, probably not.
You could be the coolest dude ever, and the second you
So-
cruise from into Sturgis, someone's just going to beat you up.
Yeah, some biker's gonna punch you in your chest and tell you to be a man.
Just get out of here, dude.
Man, that's funny.
Go back to wherever the hell you're from.
Yeah, go back on your
we
little
should do
jab, or whatever they say. Crazy shit.
that. God. Oh man.
No,
What?
yeah, bikes scare the fuck out of me. I had an R1 for a little bit because I rode dirt bikes as a kid,
Okay.
and we rode in an enduro cross series called Weeby Hair Series, which if you're from the Four Quarters area, you probably know of it.
Okay. Yeah, and
And,
I know of like hair scrambles and things like that. So.
Yeah, it's essentially that, but it's a whole series that they do, and it's a lot shorter track. They vary between 20 and 35 miles, and
Yeah.
it's great stuff. Really, really great time. But so I am far too comfortable on fast motorcycles, and I had that bike for a little bit, and I was like, if I keep this, I'm gonna kill myself. Like,
Yeah.
I was
I
way
had
too
a-
apt to try wheelies at 100, and just like, you know what, I should probably get rid of this before I wreck it.
My first bike was a 750.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, I hopped straight on a leader bike and was like, this is a lot of fun.
This is great. Here we go.
Yeah, never again.
Yeah.
Well, I say never. I would really like to get a bobber, like just something to cruise around town and go get ice cream.
Dude,
I think that would be a great time.
I've got my buddy Steve is watching, and he's got it right now, but I've got a 66 or 68 Ducati.
That's cool.
It's a 350 That is cool.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
You drink. It's a 350 Sebring, single cylinder overhead cam though.
Ooh, that's interesting.
They're neat looking. It's got a beveled gear set in the top of it, and it's got like a cool cover that covers that beveled gear set to run the cam. Yep. It's a sweet ass bike, but it's exactly that. It's just it might go 50, maybe if you hammer it like crazy. It would just be something fun to like, like whatever, dude. I just want to take this to Cars and Coffee one morning, or like I've got a VA appointment in Sturgis, and I want to take this thing on the back roads into Sturgis or something like that. Like that would be a cool.
Started on the freaking VA. Fuck those guys.
Hell, yeah, dude. It's. I'll tell you what, little bitty town, VA's better on you.
Really?
Sure.
I've heard that.
It's a different world. Denver, VA, bad.
Yeah,
dude, bad news.
Yeah, Tulsa's not great either. Some are, some aren't. But anyways,
yeah. But I came up here, and it's choice. Good VAs. The problem is that none of them are in town. It is. There's one in Sturgis, and there's one in Hot Springs. So it's 30 minutes to Sturgis. It's an hour to Hot Springs.
Cool.
So. Yeah,
I bet that single overhead cam Ducati sounds like hot for the teacher or hot for teacher when it's idling.
Being a single cylinder, it doesn't. It's a lot.
Oh, it's single cylinder. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one cylinder. It's let me try to find a picture of the engine. It's neat as I basically just got it for the engine. It's been like bobbed. It's hardtailed now.
That is neat.
It's just basically it's just the engine. That like I just really wanted it.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I want a bobber in a bad way. There's a YouTuber that I followed for a long time, the Do It with Dan guy. Okay. I think it's a 97 Honda Magna that he converted into a hardtail bobber, and that thing is like money. And the Magna, whatever motor it is, I have no clue because I'm completely ignorant to that. Ask me about big block Chevrolets and small block Chevrolets and LS motors, and I can talk your ear off. But
gotcha.
I don't know shit about motorcycles. But that thing sounds rowdy and it looks cool, and I'm like, I need that.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, Dash is great.
And that's this is going to end up kind of like that. It's going to be loud, straight piped. Whatever. Like, who cares? But
which is what you need.
It's not going to be an everyday rider. It's exactly what you need to do. exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the point
Man,
of having a
I
motorcycle
can't find a good
if
picture.
nobody knows you have one?
Right, exactly. You got to be a little wild with it, a little bit wild with it. So
Yeah.
this is
At
kind of
least,
what I've got, except mine's not army style necessarily, but
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's oh god, hold on.
You're not one of those dudes that wants to buy a Humvee and drive it around, right?
No, fuck you.
Thank God. We can be friends. Oh, that thing's fucking cool.
No,
Yeah.
no
There was a
way,
dude
dude.
at we
That's
were
the
at
yeah. So mine doesn't say Condor. Mine says Ducati 350.
which is
But
way
this is
cooler,
the
by the way.
top. Like it's a shaft right here.
That's cool.
You can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
That center thing is a shaft that runs up,
Yeah.
and then it runs the bevel gear in the top of the head.
That's
It's
cool as
neat
shit.
as hell. They're really
Yeah.
really cool. Um,
Huh.
I've got one of those that Steve's
Yeah.
got, and that's the whole plan for that thing is to go 40 miles an hour somewhere. Because why not?
Yeah. No, go 40-mile-an-hours everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You'd pin.
Steve's a cool dude. I got the pleasure of meeting Steve last year at some race that we were doing. I don't remember. King of the Open Road, maybe
Probably King of the
Tucson.
Open Road or maybe Race Week. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
But
I think it was a combination of the two. I think it was
yeah,
Race Week, maybe whichever one he did with Nick. I'm sure he'll tell us in
Race
the
Week.
comments. But
Race
yeah,
Week.
Race Week. Dude is a fucking hoot.
He is. He's Nick's uncle. If you
Yeah.
guys didn't know,
Yeah.
and he's the reason I'm into cars.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. We
Huh.
worked together at Texaco Express Lube when I was 16, and I was going to auto mechanic school, and he was the mechanic, and I worked in the oil change pit, and we would
Man.
stay after work and work on his Chevelle. He's got a 70 Chevelle.
Yep.
We'd work on a Chevelle and basically just drink. He would drink. I didn't drink. I was 16.
Right.
I was like, whatever, dude.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. and just he was out of the Navy. He did the first Gulf War. And he was an aircraft carrier dude. So good stories from Steve.
Story.
Steve's a good dude.
Yeah, I like Steve a lot. I like Nick a lot too. But
he built the
don't tell
Monza.
him that.
Yeah, we built the Monza after work. My Monza,
really?
like my first car Monza. We built
the one that you
in
want
the
to get
shop.
back, or do you have it back?
I've got it.
Okay, you did buy it back. That's right.
Yeah, I've got it back, and it's at Vince Rui's shop, getting an 850 cage put in it.
Ooh, feng shui.
Yes, sir.
I need to find somebody to do the cage in my C10. I was trying to shitbag Matt into doing it, but he doesn't want to do C10 stuff. He just wants to do Fox body things.
Man, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, whatever. Get with Zach Dykage at Casey's in Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he does all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
There's a local dude that we do a lot of work with also that says he wants to do it, but he's really busy. So I don't know. We'll see. And I'm probably a year or two away from actually putting a cage in, if I'm being completely honest with myself.
It happens. And Robert, that's 100% true. And actually what's funny is Steve, I bought a sticker for his car, his Chevelle, and you would like his Chevelle because you got a 70. Steve Roberts got a back half 70 Chevelle. That was a super street car, I believe. Frick, I bought him a sticker that said my drinking team has a racing problem, and it's still on his Chevelle on the quarter window.
That's cool as shit.
Pretty good.
Yeah, dude, you're such a fucking OG. I'm honestly like, it's crazy where life takes you, right? Because I remember the first time I ever heard of you, and we talked about this at Sick Week, was like on the 1320 videos,
right?
Of Race Week, because like I always wanted to do Race Week. Like once 1320 started like posting the Race Week videos, I'm like, dude, I like that shit.
That's the jam, right?
Yeah, because I love the streetcar shit. It is anyways, we all know like we're all big streetcar drag and drive nuts. And it's just wild where life takes you, man. Like I am so humbled that I get to call and bother you about whatever event that you just did, and
Right.
it's cool that it's just it's wild where life takes you, man.
It really is, and like we walk in these, you know, these really really cool this world of these like
yeah,
giants. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Of like these like race car giants, like people that you're
yeah,
like have read read about in magazines straight up
yeah,
and watched on TV, and then you're
yeah,
like partying with people. You're
yeah,
like, wait a second, are
yeah.
you
Like
just
I
fucking with
don't
me?
belong here.
Are you like, is something weird gonna happen here where you're like all of a sudden you don't like me, or I'm gonna be on some TV
Yeah,
show and what the
right.
hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's so crazy. I have to I can constantly remind myself to of like, dude, you're doing the damn thing. Like this is fucking crazy. The people that you get to just chat up with and talk to and just
Right, dude, and that's
and people
exactly
that
it.
remember
Like
you.
and that's it, right. The people that remember you, they're like, dude,
Yeah.
and then they like compliment you. Like I saw some of your stuff, or I watched some of your stuff, or
Yep.
whatever. Like the one that recently got me was so Flo was having some issues at a race, and that NC promoter
Hmm.
dude started doing the live stream for them, and I can't remember what
Yep.
race it was, but whatever. But that dude blew up.
Right.
This that NC promoter guy.
Yeah.
And he just does live streams, and he does like a small scale, one camera, and he's got a
Yeah.
handful of sponsors, and he's just doing the damn thing. But he showed up at the NMCA and MRA race that I announced, and he
Oh yeah.
like took a point to come up to the tower, and he was like, "Dude, like I hear racing, I hear announcers constantly. Like you freaking killed this. This was amazing. Like you explained the classes, you explained the cars, you explained what the racetrack is for a lot of people. Like." He's like, you'd be amazed how many of my people don't know the ins and outs of the racetrack. They just like watching race cars, and
Yeah.
like they appreciated that. Like
Yeah.
this was the coolest thing ever. And I
Well,
was
guess
like,
what? If you didn't know, you're pretty fucking good at your job,
well,
by the way.
and as are you. I
Well,
mean,
thank you.
and that's the best part. Here's my bike as it currently sits. Steve,
Yeah, Steve,
listening.
get to work, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? This was my buddy Andrew's bike,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Andrew's no longer with us these days.
Oh,
So
damn it.
he
Sorry to hear
bought
that.
this mainly because it was a Ducati that had a title,
Mhm.
and that
Yeah,
was it.
I mean, fair enough. That's about like base rules to buy a shit box these
Right,
days for us.
and that was pretty much it. And it sat in his living room. We got it running in his living room, and
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, dude. There it is, and
I've done
it's
my fair share of living room engine rebuilds.
right, right. But this is to be my bobber at some point. Whatever.
That'll be really cool when it comes when
Fun
he comes
note:
out.
if you look at this, the brake is on the wrong side. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. The handlebars are the wrong way. The clutch
Ah,
and brake are switched, which is
that's
stupid. So
stupid. Yeah, I don't know why you would
yeah,
do that.
it's dumb. But and I'm sure that Moody could help me out. My buddy Steve's gonna get it going for me and just at least get it to where it's rideable. So
Yeah,
no big deal. It kind of keeping that one in the house, like it's sort of the homies of we called them the Goon Squad.
yeah,
Um, kind of keeping that world in with that world a little bit. So
absolutely.
um, you know,
Well, and
that's
homies help homies.
homies helping homies. Exactly. And
Yeah,
especially, you know, Andrew's bike, like keep it kind of Andrew style and cheap, and you know, Steve gets
yeah,
that one. So
absolutely.
it's gonna be a good one. But it's got a BSA seat on it. It's stupid. But
Love that
speaking of 1320, your background
shit.
is your 13
Yeah,
is Scott Whitty photo of you working with 1320, dude. How was that?
dude, it was insane. That was a thing that I never thought in a million years would actually happen. So, like when Bree and I got married, I wrote. I'm a big manifestation guy, if you will. So
Okay.
I wrote a vision board for myself, and I wrote all this crazy shit on there, like stuff that I never in a million years thought would ever happen. And one of those was to work for 1320. Not at the time, when I wrote it, it was to be an employee of 1320. Moving forward now, like with how this has progressed, it's just to work for them at any sort of capacity. And I never ever thought it would happen. Not because of any like actual real reason. It just seemed so far
It was
fetched that
such a huge rung of the
yeah,
ladder.
like it's they're the biggest media motorsports media that's out there for what we do, drag racing
Right, right.
specifically.
Everyone knows or has seen 1320
Everybody
shirts
knows.
or photos or watermarks or
Yep.
whatever, dude. Even old school OG street racing stuff. Like if you made it on to 1320, you were a gangster.
Yeah.
But working for
Yeah.
1320,
It was
dude.
it was crazy. And it's one of those things too where I developed a relationship with Scott Whitty just from being at Race Week. Race Week is a fantastic networking opportunity
Right.
for up and coming anybody's, whether you're a racer, whether you're a photographer, videographer, whatever the fuck you do. Like
Whatever it is. Like
Race Week's the spot to do it because everybody has their guard down, and not in like a you can. It's not a mean way to put it or whatever. It's just like everybody's just
every,
hanging out. Like we're
you're having
all
fun. It's not a it's a less competitive thing. The
yeah
feel is less. It's just you're partying and driving cars and
yeah yeah. You
it's
never know who you'll share a beer with in the pits at Race Week. Like when I met Mike Finnegan for the first time, it was at Race Week, and he was like needed a jack or needed something. I don't remember what, and I had one. I was like, "Cool, here's this," and then all of a sudden we're just sitting there drinking beer, telling lies. Like it was a fantastic time.
right.
And so I ended up developing a relationship with Scott Whitty, and I remember him telling me at one point, like, "Dude, you're pretty fucking good at this thing," which was like Scott for me is the fucking goat. Like he's the dude that I aspire to be like and shoot like, and I copy his style a lot. I copy him, and there's another dude, Larry Chin, which is actually where the photo came from. It's Larry Chin's Instagram, Larry Chin
Okay.
Photo with an F, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna copy that, and I actually messaged him on Instagram. I was like, hey, do you care if I copy your Instagram? And I had like one follower, and he's like, I don't give a shit. Which is
Nice.
funny now because now I've met him and we've kind of have a relationship now, and it's again another one of those moments that I never ever thought would happen. So, anyways, Scott goes, he tells me like, dude, you know, you're pretty good at this damn thing, and if you ever at TX2K, if we need help, like you're the first dude I'm gonna call. I'm like, cool. Like, I never,
Yeah, you're kind of like whatever, dude. Like thanks for the lip service, I guess. But like you're not actually gonna call me.
man, I was so like I was emotional after he told me that because it's like meeting your hero and then him being like, I know who you are and you do cool stuff. And like you're just keep doing what you're doing
And
and
I
you'll
can't
make it
wait to
far.
work with you.
Yeah. And so like you could ask Bree about it later. Like I literally got back to the car and I was like, Scott Whitty said something fucking really cool to me and I don't know what to do about it, but this is fucking really awesome. And yeah, so race week this year came around and their normal like second shooter, Scott's normal second shooter couldn't make it. He got sick. And I was planning on going to TX2K, but I was going with friends, and I was only going to cover the drag racing because to be honest with you, I can't stand roller racing. I think it's
Right. Right.
dumb. But um, anyways, yeah, Scott calls me on Wednesday, and he's like, "Hey, can you be here tomorrow?" And I was like, "No, but I can be there on Friday." And yeah, and it was everything I expected and more. Those dudes work hard as shit.
Dude,
Those are
and I can attest to that. Like
yeah. And
it's the
Kyle, like,
craziest thing.
it was the coolest thing for me too to see Kyle work as hard as he does at it because the dude's been doing it now for 20 years. And
Right.
that's a long time. And for
Totally.
him to be going at it still 110% when he doesn't have to, like he's got for that now. And for him to still go 110%, be at a street race at night, with the two, the other videographers, and then for him, what's up, Tasha? And then for him to go from street racing to like, hey, you guys sleep whenever you guys get up, as long as it's reasonable. Like, come relieve me, and then I'll go sleep for a little bit. And yeah, I learned a lot about. I learned a lot about just kind of some stuff that I should be doing that I honestly still need to implement.
Right.
But also, it was really refreshing for me, specifically to see Kyle work as hard as he does at it, being this deep and being in the position where he has guys for it, and he's still, and not necessarily in like a overarching way, but just like taking care of his dudes. Man, it was super awesome,
Right.
and those dudes work
Right.
hard, man. Like, there probably wasn't a night that me and Scott
It's
didn't go to bed before 4 a.m. and didn't have to get up at 6 or 7 in the morning the next day.
right. It's the craziest thing, especially like race week is how I know these guys for the most part. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And they're, so it's day after day after day after day after day after day, and it's wild, dude. Like they shoot, as soon as the track opens, and even before then, they're shooting.
Yeah.
And they shoot until the track closes because
Literally
the last pair they're taking pictures of, because typically it's first place dudes. You know what I mean? And like that's just how it works. And then they're in the tower while we're tearing down because they've got Wi-Fi and they're uploading images.
Yep.
In whatever amount of time they've got, and they'll do that until they get to a good stopping point, and then they'll go to the hotel and continue uploading images, and then they'll just start editing. And they just edit and edit and edit and edit and edit and edit and edit. And then they've got along the drive, they've got a dude that's editing. It's his whole job is to edit while they drive, and they continue to take pictures and give him more shit to edit. And then somewhere along that, they need to get to Wi-Fi and or a hotspot, and then start uploading images because everyone wants them right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing to note for up and coming photographers and dudes that really want to do it, is that like you have to get it up. Like if you want to really get your foot in the door, you have to work harder than everybody. You have to get it up first. You have to, again, have good stuff. Like having good work helps a ton. Like there's a lot of dudes, and I'm not shit talking anybody specifically. Right. But there's a lot of dudes that think that they're way better than they are, and I hope that they grow into the photographer that they think that they are. And again, not anybody specifically. It's in every single motorsport that I've done, and I've shot
announcers that are the same way. There's track managers that are the same way. There's you name it. There's a guy spraying water in a water box that's the same way. Somewhere.
Right, and so like to see a company that's been doing it for 20 years, not just because now it's their moneymaker or whatever, but also it's also the principle of it, because like you want to get your shit out first, so that way it's seen and everybody sees it first. Because if there's a big giant wheelie, for example, like the Fox body that did a wheelie at TX2K, they're like, hey, we need that photo like now, basically. And it wasn't now. It was like, we just need it by the morning so we can post it. But like if it's out first, nobody else's big wheelie picture matters.
Right.
Because it was out there first and it was good. Yeah. And so again, just to see it in a capacity where it's a fully functioning, very successful business, and they're still going that hard, was really, really refreshing for me, because I've been fighting the burnout thing really heavy this past year, just because I set these goals for myself and they're not really working out the way that I want them to, and I get real bummed out and just kind of whatever.
No, I get it. I'm only a couple of months into this, and I've been like, I'm gonna go get a job. Like, screw it, I'm gonna go get a job. And like, I know I can't, because a regular job won't let me have time off like I'm needing for even what I have currently scheduled. I mean, let alone future stuff. So I mean, it's a commitment. Like you have to do this. Or you're going to renege
you can't
on
half-ass it.
Stuff.
That's for sure.
You're going to renege on stuff you already have planned, or whatever, dude. And it's, I mean, yeah. And there's going to be some days you're eating ramen noodles, but
There's a lot of days where you're going to eat the noodles.
right. A lot of what I keep saying though is like, I ain't getting rich, but I'm not getting poor. Like that's my goal. Like I don't need to get rich. I don't need to, have a car giveaway every 6 weeks.
Right.
But I need to pay my bills. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's all good in my world, and I don't need to make a ton of money. But damn, I was like today, I was like, man, what if I wanted to buy a new truck?
Can't do it.
I'm far away from that right now. I'm freaking
Yeah.
far away from that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, the
but-
only reason why we have the Civic that we have is because, for those of you that don't know, Bree had a very successful dog training business that she had basically had given up to help me do this deal. And we had bought that car with that. And granted, we had help from family to like co-sign and all that junk as well,
Right,
because like
right.
you can't really prove income right now.
Phil made it.
Yeah,
Phil.
Phil made it. What's up, baby? Yeah, late. What I say? He's gonna be late to his own funeral.
Steve said he's later than Nick even.
Yeah, I know. See, he's gonna be late to his own damn funeral. Yeah, and but yeah, and dude, I'll tell you right now, you're gonna fight the I should just get a job bug indefinitely until
Right.
until you're really making some good jam. I fight the I should go get a job probably every day of my existence, that I'm not at an event working my dick off and working my ass off. Sorry, whatever.
You can work your dick off. That's okay.
Yeah,
I get it. I make money with my mouth, dude. I mean, that's
you're one step above a prostitute at this point.
I mean, really, that's it. I mean, that is it. My mouth makes me money, and that's, I mean, straight up.
But yeah, no, I fight that bug constantly because it would be so much easier. But like I have to remind myself, because for me, I was miserable in doing what I was doing. Like
Right.
I had something inside of me that wanted to do what I'm doing now. And I have to remind myself, like, you may go get a job and it may fix the money problem that you have, but you're gonna be fucking miserable again.
Right. And that's a lot of what I'm like. I dug my job, but it's all I've done for a long time. Like, if you guys don't know, like, I sold sprinkler parts when I was 18.
That's a long time.
Right, dude. I mean, I've been doing this. I'm 44 now. So when you do the math, I mean, sure. Yeah. I was in the Army. So I did that for 9 years and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, dude, come on. That's stuff that I've been doing forever. And I thought I liked it, but like, dude, I like this. Like, I like doing that. It's just such a different thing. And it's very much the, work. I use air quotes a lot. Like, it's work. Like, I'm working, but really all I'm doing is talking about drag racing to a bunch of other people that also like drag racing. That's a pretty awesome job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but and you're tired of your OnlyFans. And
no, I'm starting an OnlyFans.
That's
it's
right.
Just going to be car photos.
I'm going to subscribe. I'll tell you what. But and there's a lot of other stuff that comes up, especially as an older dude, and that's, dude, I don't want to work forever, so I need to set money aside. Like, I need to I need to continue to work toward my retirement, and I had a good 401k, which is great. So I've got that to kind of move forward, but like, that's a lot of things, 4 years in for you right now. There, like, shit, dude, I need to figure this out. Like, that's a lot of where my future goes to, is like, I need to pay taxes. Like, every dollar I make is 70 cents, because 30% of that's going to go to Uncle Sam. And a lot of people don't think about that. Like, a ton of events are 1099ing, which is great. Like, good for you, but you got to know that, like, whatever we decide on is 30% less than that in my pocket. Like, I get that up front, but Uncle Sam's going to get his cut out back. So
and even whenever you move into having sponsors, like for your podcast and whatever else, like that's all 1099 stuff. And,
Right.
and that's what got me in this most recent rut that I was in, was that like I had made my goal for the first 3 months, and then Uncle Sam was like, "Hey, dude, you haven't paid in a few years," and
It's time. Yeah.
yeah, which set me back so far that it was like, well, now I can't afford to go to these events that I want to go to, because I had that money set aside to do that, but then it was like that plus life plus,
Shit happens. I mean, right.
yeah.
Murphy's law is when you have no money, your car is going to break down, or your furnace is going to break down, or
Yeah,
whatever.
well, it's Murphy's Law for me is whenever I have money, everything breaks.
Right.
So, like, right after I had gotten the payment from Deechworks, for example, which I love Deechworks, by the way. I'm wearing the hat because I love those dudes. But
Right.
like right after that was when the Civic broke. And then, so not only am I now paying for the Civic Trans to get fixed, and this is just stuff that, like, when you go down this route, even on your route, that like, if there's an up and coming, aspiring dude that's going to want to travel the country announcing races and driving there the whole time, like your car's going to break eventually. And yeah, so it was like the car broke, but then it wasn't that just that the car broke, is that I had to haul it everywhere around Orlando, basically. So we trailered it, or we triple A'd it from the place that it broke down to the hotel, which I was in that hotel for like a week because, kind of like attack then the first 2 days or 3 days of sick week.
Right.
And then we had to move it from there to the track. And then we had to move it from the track to outside of the track because, they can't just keep a car in the back 40 because they have another race coming in.
Right.
And then on top of all of that, now I have to rent a car, and it piles up. And then after that, like, I got to help, which, to be fair, the Poppies Bettina dudes really, really took care of me on that deal to bring it home. But, you got to pay for the car dolly. You got to help pay for fuel and whatever. And yes, like Tasha said, my entire camera bag broke when
Right.
we were at South Georgia, or was it South Georgia? Yeah, South Georgia.
I think South Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, I had walked into I actually have it behind me, it doesn't matter. But I walked into the room, and I had bought this camera bag 4 years ago, and it's just shitty $40 Amazon camera bag, and it had just opened the zipper and dropped all of my livelihood out of it, and I broke $6,000 worth of stuff.
Oh.
Just destroyed on the ground. And of course, all of this happens when I finally have a little bit of money in the bank, right?
Right. Right.
And yeah, and it's to me, it's part of the fun now. It's just like, whatever. Like, you can't.
Right. You just know that, like, if you've got a
Yeah.
little jing, something bad's going to happen, and take your jing.
Yeah, and I hopefully I get all my bad juju out this year. Maybe, hopefully, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just always something is what I'm trying to get at. And
No, yeah, for sure. And like for me, like, dude, a couple of weeks ago, I had podcasts like locking up. And this is kind of my deal. Like, I'm trying to make this into another source of income for me for the same exact
Absolutely.
reason. And it's been fun, honestly, just catching up with people. Like, that's it. And if it turns into something else, great. But like, yeah, I was looking at like, dude, I need to buy a laptop, and like the cheapest laptop that I can buy that'll actually run this and run it well. Dude, is going to like $700, $800.
Yep.
And like, dude, that's a lot of money now. Like, you start looking at it like, dude, that's me talking on a microphone for 2 days.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
like, that's, that's big stuff. And I think I figured it out. Maybe we'll figure, so far, knock on wood, still rocking with the tablet here. Save my $600, but
there you go.
Turn down some settings and whatnot. But that's stuff that happens. Like, that's a thing, and you're kind of walking that tightrope a lot of the time.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing that I've come to understand from talking to the dudes that have made it, is like, you're walking on a tightrope till you get to the other side, and then you're not walking on a fucking tightrope anymore.
Right.
And it's just, you got to walk the tightrope, and you don't know when the end of the tightrope's going to be. Like, it could be 1 year, it could be 10 years. Fuck, it could be 25 years. You don't really know. But if you really wanted to make it happen, like, you gotta blindly walk the tightrope until you get to the other side.
And a lot of that came from the Army for me.
Yeah,
and it was It was old school ruck marches. And it was
Dude,
like,
I was about to say the same thing.
yeah, dude. And I did I did a marathon ruck march, so 26.2 miles,
Yep.
40-pound pack, for time. And
Did you do it in boots or sneakers?
in boots? Oh yeah, no, we
Yeah.
didn't do
Good.
sneakers, dude. I mean, that wasn't our jam.
Good.
We're paratroopers, dude. We
Yeah,
we do boots and we sing,
Yeah.
the whole time.
You guys
So
fucking probably jogged half the fucking thing.
a bit of it for sure.
Yeah,
But
go on.
that was a lot of it. Like, dude, you're in and you know that you can't do it, and you just continue to put your foot in front of your other foot.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're done.
Yep.
And you're like, well,
I did that shit.
Dude, that wasn't, I mean, that sucked. That was bad.
Yeah.
But you just do it. Like, you just keep doing it. And that's kind of every day. And you know, it's a lot of it's funny because a lot of like recovering addicts will think that way too. Like, it's, you know, it's one day at a time. It's one step at a time. But that's life, dude. I mean, that's just life. You just need to, you know, you're going to get punched in the face once in a while, and you just need to keep getting up and walking. And that's
absolutely,
like, that's part of it.
And I think that that's a lot of the competitive edge that you and I and other, you know, dudes that have put in that kind of, you know, put in service hours that we have over just
that kind of work. Like, right. Like, dude, nothing compares to, you know, 2 a.m. friggin' wake up call, and then we're doing an unknown mile run.
Yeah, like, company runs are so much fun, especially when you're
just and you're like hungover and you're fucked up and, you know, whatever. Like, here we go. You know, we're gonna do it. And we're gonna sing loud as fuck, and it's gonna be fun. And that's what it is, man. That's I mean, do the Manchu Mile in Korea, 25 miles overnight. Exactly. Like, it sucks ass, but you can say you did that shit. Like, and that's part
and
of
it's always such a good feeling at the end.
Right. And during, you're like, it'd be so easy. Like that, and that's airborne school. Like, they'll run you in a company, but they split the company, so there's 2 rows. So all you need to do is take one step to the right or the left.
Yeah.
And you're done. And you can go home. If you want to go home. And but that was it. Unknown distance runs in boots every morning. And we're going to run until we're done running.
Yep.
And we don't know when that's going to be.
And there's that one quote that's, I don't know who did it. It's probably some douchebag Instagram influencer or whatever, but it's just like, don't, you know, you work till you're finished. You know, actually, I think it's Kobe said it. I don't remember, but like, you don't stop in the middle. You stop when you're finished. And it's just like, you know, you never know what finished actually is. But we walk on that tightrope. But you know, I'm in life, and granted, you know, I'm not that old, but you know, we've done a lot of life in these 25 years, and
it's not the year, it's the miles.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of miles on it, but the you don't know until you know. You know, you're just gonna run until you don't. Yeah, you don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're finished. Exactly.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Hour and a half, just like that. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's funny how these.
I have no time limit, by the way, so we could bullshit all night if you want to.
Let's go. Can't wait. I do like to try to keep these around 2 hours because people just stop watching, to be honest with you. But but that said, what turned, you know, I know we talked kind of BMX with photography and stuff, but you're a gearhead yourself. Like, you've got a Camaro and whatnot. But what made you into a gearhead?
My dad, for sure. He was a big old gearhead when I was growing up, and so my dad had 2 cars, which I now own, which was his 73 C10.
Nice.
Which he calls the yellow bitch, which I now call Doc.
Okay.
Which is the C10 that I referenced earlier that I need to put a cage in. But that truck was a nitrous small block with a top loader 4-speed forever. Like he went 980s in the early 2000s with a 4-speed and a nitrous small block.
Nice. Gangster.
And then he had a 69 Datsun 240Z that was like, we would go out street racing, and like I used to flag races for my dad, like street races for my dad when I was like 8 or 9. Like he'd be like, hop
Yeah.
out. Yeah, he'd be like, hop out, toss the rag, like, and the circumstances of that aren't necessarily great, but the memories of doing it with my dad were fantastic. And my dad ran a rock bouncer chassis deal out of our backyard. So he
Okay.
built motors and worked on chassis, and then he's been a gearhead his whole life, and so inadvertently I turned into one as well. So really, my dad taking me to the track, going circle track racing, going drag racing, street race. We did a lot of street racing, which is probably why all the racing I do now is no prep and street racing. But yeah, like we did a ton of street racing. And the thing with the C10 is like if we got beat in the C10, we would just go home and grab the Datsun and then just go, lay hand. There was this one time we raced a bike in the C10, and this was when bikes were pretty fucking slow, to be honest. Like the early 2000s, like the bikes weren't all that impressive.
Right. 12-second.
Yeah, 12, 11-second bikes. And there was this one dude that had a stretched, I don't remember what it was, but it was a stretched bike, and he had nitrous on it. And we ran him in the C10, and he walked out of our lives. And we literally, my dad was like, all right, we're going home. And this was when like Sonic meets were fucking cool. So like, we went back to the Sonic, and my dad was like, are you going to be here for a little bit? Like my house is 20 minutes away. I'm going to go grab my other car. And, I got my 44 ounce blue slushies before the nerd slushies. But like, I'm sitting with my little slushie, and we go home, we grab the Datsun, we race that dude back and like walk out of his life. And the Datsun at the time was I think it was a 408 small block.
Okay.
With a few kits of nitrous, which is also why I'm a huge nitrous guy. And my dad was a nitrous guy, and I've always been kind of keen to it. But anyways, yeah. So we went back, grabbed the Datsun, and then walked out of that bike's life. And just kind of growing up with that shit, it just kind of, there's no way around it. And even further so, like when I moved back to Oklahoma, because I lived with my mom in Utah for a long time, and some circumstances brought me to Oklahoma, where my dad now resided, because we were from the Four Corners originally.
Okay.
I was born in a tiny town in Colorado called Hesperus, which I'm sure you probably know where it's at.
I don't.
Maybe not.
No.
Do you know where Durango is?
Yeah.
It's like 10 minutes south of Durango.
Okay. All right.
You'll blink it. The only thing in the town is a gas station and a post office and a bunch of dudes' land. But we grew up in a town called Farmington, New Mexico, which is like a oil rig town. Everybody there was, so that shithole. Which there's a ton of street racing down there.
Nice.
So anyways, my dad moved to Oklahoma while I was living in Utah with my mom. And then I moved back, and my dad got me a job while I was working in high school at the shop that he was working at, which did a ton of performance stuff. I mean, we did everything from drag racing to road course racing, and
hell yeah,
which got me a lot of really, really solid experience, which helped me in further jobs. But at any rate, I've been doing it for basically my entire life. Like we were building engines in the back shed when I was a tiny baby. And I my dad's got pictures of me like idling he would put the truck in gear. And since it was a top loader 4-speed, like first is granny gear.
Right.
Like he would just put it in first and then like let the clutch out and then let me steer it around the neighborhood. He'd be sitting in the passenger seat and just like, yeah. So like I've been around it forever and ever and ever. And yeah, I love it, man. It's way cheaper. Well, it's not way cheaper than drugs, but it's way more fun than drugs, I think.
Yeah, probably a little less detrimental to your life.
Well, car people and drug people. Car people are way cooler to hang around than drug people.
Drug people will steal from you. Car people will help you.
Yeah.
Beat the next guy.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for basically my whole entire life. I've been a car dude.
Hell yeah. Here's one. I'm getting through my questions, by the way. So if you're in here watching, throw questions up that you want to ask, Mr. Chris Story.
Yeah, please do. I'm an open
Um,
book. I have no secrets.
What is your favorite drag and drive race car
Ever?
ever?
Probably Frank
What I tell most people is unlimited cash. You've got a place to store it. Everything's for sale. Whose car are you going to bring home?
Frank's 55 all day.
Okay,
Frank's
all right,
55 all day without a doubt, no question in my mind.
love it.
110% of the time, every time.
Yep. So that's if you
Um,
guys don't know, Frank Romano, NA big block stick shift,
Yep.
55 Chevy. It's awesome. And
Yep.
like Frank, if you've never met Frank, you need to meet Frank.
Yeah.
Frank's a tattoo artist from
Yep.
from Long Island, and it's exactly how you would expect this guy to be. Is
Yeah.
a tattoo artist from Long Island.
I want to get a tattoo from Frank in a bad way.
Bad, dude. Same bad.
I would love.
that-
I would
yeah.
love to get the. So my dad has the Claysmith cams, Mr. Horsepower right here. I would love
Yep.
to have Frank do that for me.
Dude, totally.
I think that would be awesome.
I wonder if we maybe make a trip. You
I'm
and
down.
I go to Long Island and go see Frank and go get tattoos.
Let's do it. I'm in there like
Dude.
swimwear. But let's buy a shitty car and make it a fun road trip too.
Oh man, can't this is sounding great. So yeah, Frank Romano's car is gangster. It also runs in the mid 9s.
Yeah.
And the thing does 5-digit RPM burnouts. It's like pro stock type stuff.
Yeah, I love Frank's car, and it checks
Yes.
all the boxes for me because I'm a big stick shift dude. So like my first Camaro was a stick shift
Attaboy.
nitrous car, and we went 5s with a stick shift nitrous car a long time ago.
Hell yeah.
But like stick shift, big motor. I love 55 Chevrolets. That's definitely the one that tickles my fancy the most out of all of them.
I like it. Pat wants to know, what are your tips for great burnouts?
Put your car in the highest gear possible and then put it on the limiter. And if you're scared, go to church.
Attaboy.
Don't hit me with no freaking first gear burnouts. Like if I'm out there with a camera, I expect you to be in high gear at the highest RPM your motor will desire. Like
that was my very first problem. So I was Fred from 1320's first trailer burnout.
Really?
With my Malibu.
Really?
Unfortunately, it was only in first and second gear, so not much smoke, but it was his first one, and it's on video.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's something Fred's first trailer burnout.
That's something that we do with the Poppies guys. So we have the Pacer, which is a purpose-built burnout
the pit
car.
boss. Yep.
Yeah, the pit boss, which Derek loves to wreck for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But like
wreck that car,
dude. But if I remember right, in high gear, that thing's got something like 190 mile an hour wheel speed.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So just all the wheel speed, zero care for tire wear. Do people actually do burnouts in lower gears? Lame people do burnouts in lower gears.
Lame people, Mr. Stoneside.
Losers,
do you even have anything that runs?
I'm sure he's got. If he doesn't, he could have it running by tomorrow if he really wanted to.
True. Oh, Eric Carroll.
What's up, Eric?
What's up, Eric?
I like Eric.
We are just running through my questions. Everyone else, if you have questions that you want to throw up there, go ahead and do it. I have my Dirty Panda stickers here.
I need a Dirty Panda sticker.
Go see Mr. Edward, Mr. Richard.
I know.
Mr. Richardo. He'll hook you up. We did your favorite track. We did your favorite drag and drive car. We did your advice for newbies. Shoot. Let's talk about your car. You're doing the Camaro. You're doing a clutch and stuff in it now?
So the Camaro project has escalated a lot. But as any car project really does. Yeah, Stick Shift Gangster. Brooks a fucking gangster, dude.
Brooks knows what's up.
Brooks is a gangster. This is a bad way to say that you're a gangster, but Rex's car at the end of race week bashes it back together and then races it
the next day.
Event. Yeah, dude's
the next day.
Gangster.
Yeah.
Brooks.
Yeah. Brooks is my homie.
Brooks is the homie. Yeah, the Camaro's cool. It's just not. I've been an F body guy for a long time, so like
It's
my
it's a fourth gen. If you guys don't know,
it's Silver Fortune. It's a Magnuson car. Shout out to Boost District. They helped me with the blower on that deal. And that was basically that basically came out of like Rashawn from Boost District going like, I think this blower will fit under the cowl of an F body. Like, here you go, see if it actually fits.
Prove it, right? Make it work.
And they do fit. If you have LS3 heads, you could fit it under the cowl without cutting or modifying anything. But
Hell
at any
yeah.
rate, it's escalated quite quickly because I really didn't want to cut the cowl out of the car, and so I had kind of two options, and I was either to run a half-inch K-member spacer, which made the suspension geometry all jacked up, and if I were to lower the car where it looks cool, which is the number one rule, your car has to look cool.
Right.
It would make it terrible to drive because the headers would basically be half an inch off the ground the entire time.
Right.
Or cut the cowl to run the Cathedral square port adapters, or run LS3 heads. And so my thought was to put it on YouTube, obviously, and if you buy it back, yeah, you should. Which I bought the car from Joe and Stone Cipher, by the way.
That's the first problem. Go over it with a black light first.
He's actually done a really good job about putting that car together. I drove that car. They rebuilt the motor and then basically parked the car. And I drove that car 33,000 miles last year with zero problems. All I did was oil changes, and I did a camshaft because they didn't put a camshaft in it when they rebuilt it because they're lame. I don't know. But yeah, so it's coming along. I think I have everything to like slam it together at this point. I need to buy a trending upgrade for the rockers, and I need to buy a spring kit. I acquired a cam and some other junk, but it will be for sale soon.
Get with Paul Thornton with BTR.
Yeah. Well, I have an in with the BTR dude. I did some work for him for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
I was gonna say, that car will be if not, let them know you're a race week dude, and they'll get you something.
Yeah, Pat says, "Do you have a 1-speed?" So I broke the trans. I drove that car to last year. I drove it to Bowling Green for LS Fest, and on the trip home, I lunchboxed the transmission.
Perfect.
Which was a fun ride home because we were basically stuck in third gear the entire way home from the middle of nowhere, Missouri, all the way back to Tulsa, which is like an 8-hour stint of driving in third gear.
And it would go like 70 if it was 4,000 RPM.
Yeah, which is exactly basically where it was at. Because I put really tall gears in the car because I wanted it to be identical to C606 gearing, which it is. So it's got if you have an F body and you want your car to drive like or have the gear ratios of a C606, put 323 rear gears in it, and it'll be basically the same with a 27-inch tall tire. But at any rate, yeah, it's coming along fine. I was waiting on a harness for a long time, and the harness took like 7 or 8 months to get put together and sent to my house, which it's an integrated Holley harness.
Oh, sweet.
Because it's
so it plugs into all the factory stuff, and then you can put a Terminator or whatever in it.
Yeah, because, I'm a big – if it's going to be a street car, it should have AC in it, and you can burn me at the stake for that, and I don't really care. I'll die on that hill.
I love AC, dude.
Yeah, AC is just, and I drive my shit a lot more than a lot of people do. Like it's one thing to fare a drag and drive without AC, but like I drive my shit box to the drag and drive and then do the drag and drive in it,
then drive it home.
Right, and then while I'm doing the drag and drive, like for example, race week, like we'll put 2,100 miles on a car on race week just because we're doing circles and this, there, and everywhere, and having no AC really sucked. But at any rate, I was waiting forever for the harness, and I finally got it in, and I found my old clutch for my black car. My black car was another F body, the nitrous stick shift car I told you about a little bit ago. But yeah, so the silver car will be for sale soon-ish. As soon as I get it done and I get some miles on it, make sure it's proven and like actually reliable and nice. I got to fix some interior stuff because Ryan Weger has an OBS. I'm getting back into a white single cab short bed OBS.
Nice, dude.
Which I've acquired a lot of parts for in these past couple of weeks. and it'll be about a 430-inch motor, nitrous motor, 480
Gen
deal.
1 small block?
No, LS
LS?
motor.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be LS based. I'm just more familiar with the LS based stuff, and you can get parts for them way easier than you can get Gen 1 small block parts.
You can stuff at 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Plus, if it's 430 cubic inch, you can. What's up, John? Another freaking gangster car in a small block, which is another deal that I love is NA cars.
Totally.
But anyways, it'll be the replacement for the Camaro, and it's probably a forever deal because we bought a '98 Suburban for Bree, which will be our like main drag and drive vehicle that we travel the country in.
Right.
And it's a white OBS Suburban that's going the turbo LS route for fuel economy reasons. Fuel economy,
right?
Yeah,
they do get good mileage. They really do.
They really do. Like David's on the way to Alaska got like 18 to 19 miles to the gallon, and his is a 6-liter with 3 dudes in it, and it's a way heavier truck than what the OBSs are.
Right.
So if I could get 20 miles to the gallon in a Suburban, I would be tickled pink. Yeah.
All day.
So anyways, we'll be 2 OBSing it up, and then the C10 is gonna be like my spicy ordeal.
Cool. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have a bunch of junk just like everybody else does.
It happens. It really does.
No big block square.
No. And Philip Thomas says the 6.5 is the best GMT motor, but his is blown up. So
yeah, I disagree. I know too much about the 6.5 Detroits from fucking Humvees. I don't
exactly.
want to touch another one.
Just rattling a bag of hammers.
We drove Humvees from freaking here to Fort Bragg.
God, were they 4 speeds or 3 speeds?
They're turbo 400 ones, 3 speeds, 55 miles an hour.
Yeah,
full battle rattle because we were transporting some spicy stuff.
Right. Still, no way. Yeah. 55 loud.
Oh yeah,
with a ballistic helmet on. That's not a crash helmet. United States Army. No. Okay,
yeah, it's terrible. To be fair, we weren't wearing our helmets. We were supposed to, but like as soon as we were on the highway, the motherfuckers were off.
Yeah, exactly. Terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, I got my LMTV license after that trip for that reason.
I love the LMTV. Love it.
Yeah.
That diesel with an Allison Auto.
Yeah.
LMTV's a jam. Anyway, dude, I'm done. I'm falling asleep. I'm out of here. But
I appreciate
this was super fun. This was really, really fun. I appreciate you coming on and especially after a long ass drive.
Yeah. Yeah, a little 17-hour trip.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I appreciate you sitting down and yakking with us and giving us a little background of Chris' story, dude. And
yeah, man. Anytime at all you want to.
I love it. And I can't wait to see you. When will I see you next? What do you got coming up?
So there was talks about going to Alaska again, and I don't think we're gonna. So we'll probably summer is where we'll be at.
Okay. I'll see you there.
Another thing that I want to mention while we still have people in here is in August, I'm going to be doing a photo tour, which I'm basically going from the tip of Florida to wherever the fuck you guys want me to take pictures at.
Cool.
So slide in my DMs. Let me know if you want a photo shoot. They're probably going to be around $500.
When is this happening?
August. It'll probably start the second week of August and go all the way into I don't know. I'll have to look. It's going to be like a 2 or 3 week ordeal because there's nothing going on in August, and a lot of dudes want photo work done. Yeah, right. So it goes from the 4th of August until the 7th of September.
Sweet. And you're going from Florida to wherever?
Wherever.
Nice.
If you want me to be there, I will be there, and we will take pictures of your junk, videos of your junk, whatever you want to do.
Hell yes, dude.
We have a bunch of cars set up already, and I'm real excited about it. I'm real excited to bring that back.
Awesome.
Full nude or just frontal, whatever you want, man.
Yeah,
money talks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if your check clears, then I'll make anything happen. But So yeah, make
Exactly.
sure you
I'll
check
take
that
that.
out. Slide in Chris's DMs. August, if you guys want a photo package, August is
Yep.
your time, man. He's going to start in Florida and he's going to be moving around, and
Yep.
yeah, it's going to be sweet. And I will see you at Six Summer.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
sure
just
you'll
planning on
be
it. I
at.
think we're doing that.
I'm sure you'll be at Race Week.
I'm definitely going to be. I won't miss a race week from here until the end of time because I owe my entire life at this point to race week. My grandma says, "Not Alaska, please."
Not Alaska. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, dude, it's going to be sweet. It's going to be a really, really good time.
Yeah,
to
brother,
get to
I'm
see it.
excited.
But, dude, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I'm going to throw you in the background real quick. I'll say goodbye to everybody, and then I'll say goodbye to you real quick. But,
Sounds good. I'll be back there.
dude, Chris, thank you, man. This has been so
Thanks
much
for
fun.
having me, folks. I appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Later, dude.
Dude, how cool is that? I had Chris Story on. I love Chris, dude. Check him out on all his stuff. Chris Story Foto, Foto. The YouTube stuff is great, dude. You got to check out his YouTube page. All that first person photographer stuff is really, really good. It's some of the best stuff because you get to see what little of a window he has to take photos, and then you get to see the final view of the photo. So, guys, this was super fun. Chris is a dude that's been doing this for a few years, and like I said, has been a dude that has been in my corner the second that this kind of happened, and I'm a big fan of his. But Gibson Frieder, that's right, he loves you. You love him. It's all good. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Next week is going to be a good one. I've got Travis and Amanda Martin on next week. Travis has got the white 4th gen F body. That's a routing radial car. And then Amanda had the G8 that she brought out that was in the 11.0 class or something like that. So another husband-wife team on next week. They have kind of put racing on the back burner to build themselves their like dream house, which is super cool. I'm excited to talk about that and talk about when they get back into racing as well. So I'm going to have them on very soon. And then I've got a little bit coming up. I'm maybe going to have some cool stuff coming up. We'll see. A few kind of fires burning in the background and whatnot. But Six Summer will be my next event. That's coming up soon. I'm wearing my Sick Week hat, Sick the Mag hat. And then also keep an eye out for Sick the Mag, dude. They're making moves. They are sponsoring the live stream. They're the presenting sponsor of the Race Week and Rocky Mountain Race Week franchises this year. They also sponsored a lane at Milan Dragway. So Sick the Mag making moves in the drag race community. So appreciate them a ton for doing the thing. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys so much. Tuesday night, That's Cool Drink, episode number 41. Chris, motherfucking Story. We are done. Talk to you guys.